Can anyone out there name a country that will come to our rescue? Hello, YouTubers. Alaska Prepper here. It's an early Sunday morning, about 5:45, and it's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all of you. I wasn't going to put out a video today, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for a walk. Let's go ahead and take along the AP community, or at least those of you that want to go out for a walk with me today. But I really wanted to talk about something, and it's this. You are going to be the last to know. You will be the last to be told that you need to prepare by the media, especially the mainstream media, and by the government. Have you heard our government in the last year or so? I mean, we heard the president say on not even national TV, but world TV, say that we're headed towards a food crisis, a food shortage crisis. But in the last year or so, have you heard the government tell us, hey, you need to go out there and prep up? No, I haven't, all right? I have not. If one of you have, let us know down on the bottom. But you will be the last to know, ladies and gentlemen. So it's your job to prepare now. And the reason that I started thinking about this today, and I've mentioned this before, is because I mentioned something on one of my previous videos about these fires that's going on with the processing plant fires and barn fires, etc. And I said that I think that they're using that more as smoke and mirrors. That there's maybe something more nefarious going on in the background, which there is, I'm sure of it, but that they're using this as a way to keep our eyes off of what's really going on. And now maybe I think I was wrong, because I was looking through the news from a few days ago. Usually I'm behind a few days. And there's fact checkers out there. I think one of them was from Bloomberg. I didn't save the article or anything, but I think there was one from Bloomberg. And then a different site that said, this is a fact check. There is no conspiracy theory in that all of these fires are occurring. And I'm like, well, that's odd, because your fact check only includes your opinion, and it's a major publication. So the fact check didn't include any facts that disproved that these things were being done on purpose. And what I found is that the FBI actually came out with something warning farmers and processing plant managers and CEOs that there may be some cyber attacks happening that's helping to cause the damage that we've seen so far. So I'm like, they'll never tell us. Instead, they'll use their propaganda to make us think otherwise. And the unfortunate thing is this, is that most people, they will fall for it. And they will not get prepared. I guarantee that someone right now is watching. One of you out there right now is watching, thinking, oh my God, this guy's a nut. There's nothing wrong, because you go to the supermarket and it's full. But have you asked yourself a question? For how long will that supermarket stay full should something happen that is out of our control? For how long? I mean, there are so many things right now that's occurring in our world and in our country, and you can fill in the name of the country, whichever one you're in. I'm sure it's similar to yours. I have a brother that lives in the Dominican Republic, and he told me, bro, you're not going to believe this. And I'm like, what? He's like, I went to buy a chicken, and the price of chicken in this last year has gone up 4 times. It's gone up 400% above baseline, above the average price that he was paying for a chicken over there. Back a year ago, he was paying about $2. When you converted it over to American dollars, about $2 for a whole chicken. And now it's up to $10, a little over $10 for a whole chicken. Same chicken, same calories, same fat and everything, except that now it's 5 times the original price. So $10 instead of $2. That's crazy. And people are not taking into account how very serious this diesel shortage is going to be. And they're not taking into account that The diesel is still going to be available, ladies and gentlemen, but the price is going to be astronomical. I said early this year, and I still stand by this. I said early this year, this is where I turn around. But I said early this year that I saw oil going up to $200 a barrel by the end of this year. And that was before this Russia-Ukraine thing happened. And that I saw food going up in price across the board between 50 to 100% this year. And when I say across the board, I mean, some things may go up in price 20%, but something else may go up in price 50%, right? So like, for example, I think it's that I always bring that olive oil up because it's so incredible how high in price it's gotten. But that olive oil that we use in my household, has gone up by 70%, I believe, just in the last 6 months, I think, not even a year. And then some other things may only go up by 20 or 30%. But averaged out, the mean is going to be between 50 and 100% for everything. I mean, rice has gone up by an awful lot just in the last 4 or 5 months. At least the rice that I use. But people don't understand, and I can't say all people, but I would say most people, they don't understand how this is going to impact them. I mean, the price of heating oil here in Alaska in 1 year has gone up by more than double, almost triple. I think it's 260%. How in the world are people going to heat their homes? Those that don't have a wood stove. I mean, people look at Alaska and they're like, well, you have a wood stove. I mean, yes, I have a wood stove, but it's for emergencies. I'm looking into putting one in permanent, but that hasn't happened yet. But I do have one for the very worst case scenarios. I prefer the heating oil that we use. And then I have a propane heating system as a backup. But people are going to be in dire straits. And by the time that they actually get there, they're not going to be prepared. Because they listen to those same people that have forsaken them. And that is very unfortunate. I don't know how long this video is going to be, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm just going to roll with it, okay? We're just having a conversation. So grab your coffee and let's have a coffee together, even though I don't have one right now. I actually haven't had my first cup of coffee today. Things are not looking any better. I wish I could say they were. I wish I could come out here and jump up and down and say, hooray, hooray, everything is great now. Everything is great. I remember when I was a little kid and I forgot what the situation was. I forgot what it was that happened. But my father and a whole bunch of his friends, adults, obviously, like in their 40s, 50s, because I was the very youngest child in my family. So my father was pretty old compared to my age. But I remember my father and a lot of his friends, they started jumping up and down saying hooray. I don't remember why. I was that young. But I wish I can come out here one day and just start jumping up and down and saying hooray, for good reasons. I wish that I could do that. That would be so awesome. But I come out here, to talk with you and tell you that you need to be preparing. In my opinion, you can't have too much. Right now, you can't have too much, in my opinion. You need to be diversified, have those additional locations that you can go to and additional storage locations as well. People talk about confiscation of food and stuff like that. When you think about it, the way that a government looks at food and things like that, they look at it at a strategic level. So they look at it, is it worth me going and knocking down a few doors to get what would be the equivalent of one meal for 20,000 people, right? So let's say they knock down 100 preppers' doors and they get the equivalent of that of 1 or 2 meals for 20,000 people. It's not worth it for them. For them, they'll be going for big ticket items like farms, like places that actually produce food, that have food warehoused, things like that. It's my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong. Local governments as well. local governments will probably have a tougher time depending on the size of their police force. I mean, I know here in Fairbanks, I believe there's only about 27 police officers, which is great. I've always had a good rapport with the police here. I've only encountered them 2 or 3 times since I've been here, but each time it was good. And I even got pulled over once, right? And he was very, very nice, And I was very polite back. That counts. But anyways, I digress, ladies and gentlemen. But we're looking at the diesel fuel shortage that we're having now. We are looking at propane. People stop talking about propane. We are also short on propane. And guess who uses propane the most? Farmers do. The price of gasoline is only going to continue to go up, which means that there's going to be less economic activity. Energy is everything. We in the United States were at a point where we produced pretty much everything that we needed when it came to oil and energy. And now we shut down our own production. And now we're going to those countries that we still call our adversaries for that same energy that we were producing at one time. And what's to say that they say no? After bashing Venezuela for so many years, after bashing them and talking bad about them for so many years, we're now groveling to Venezuela so that they can sell us some oil. Isn't that amazing? Look, ladies and gentlemen, this is the road. The very first video I ever made was down this road during wintertime. I remember, I think it was Bella that was with me on that video. We're going to Saudi Arabia and pretty much begging them to increase oil production. And they agreed, I believe, to increase oil production here going into the summer months, because the summer months are the months that people use a lot of gasoline. And I think this summer, there's going to be a lot of it used no matter what price. But their increase of oil, Saudi Arabia's increase of oil, it's not really going to have that much of an impact on price because the demand is going to be higher. We're going into the summer months. The price of everything is just going to continue to go up. I said it 1,000 times. And you know what? I'm very happy that some people are listening. I get emails and I see it in the comments of people saying what they're doing, how they're conserving, that they're prepping. That's great. But we need to reach more, because I see the United States of America turning into a Venezuela. Believe it or not. We are turning into a Venezuela, or in other words, a banana republic. And that's not the country that none of us want to live in, ladies and gentlemen. We have a system that takes from the many to give to the few, and a system in which your vote no longer matters. Think about it. Let me tell you how it is that your vote no longer matters, and how it is that we do have taxation without representation, and that is because we have no representation. Take a look at our annual budget and take a look at where that money goes. Most of, if not all of, our annual budget goes to mandatory expenditures like Social Security, like pensions, Medicare, things like that. It's all used up. So most of our actual taxed dollars that we actually pay in taxes, that goes to pretty much all social programs when you think about it. Everything else we borrow. That's $739 billion for the military. That's pretty much money that we borrow in order to fund the military. The money that we give away to other countries, we borrow that money. Can you believe that? We borrow that money so that we can give it away. And how is that taxation without representation? Because when you borrow money and you have a deficit as a nation, it means that that money is being printed out of thin air pretty much. It is. Because we're either giving bonds to other countries who buy our bonds, which is pretty much lending us money. And those bonds are just being printed. So we're giving them IOUs on money that we don't have to pay back to them. Or we're just pretty much printing the money, i.e., banks buy the bonds, and then the banks sell the bonds to the Federal Reserve. So we're pretty much printing the money out of thin air. Well, what happens when you print money out of thin air? It is a direct tax on you and me, the American people. Because the printing of money out of thin air and adding it to the economy is called inflation. And inflation is a tax on your purchasing power. So we have no representation. We have taxation without representation. And just think of all of the nefarious things that our government has done with that money that they've stolen from us over the years. Why is it that you think that so many countries hate us? And on top of that, on top of all these countries hating us, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think is going to help us when it finally hits the fan? Can anyone out there really name a country? Let's do this little thought experiment. Can anyone out there name a country that will come to our rescue? What country? Is it Mexico? Do you really think that Mexico really likes us? That they really like our politics? That they would help? Would Mexico come and help the United States if we needed help without something in exchange, right? Like, for example, if I needed to go help my neighbor, I would go help him at the drop of a dime. And I would never ask for anything in exchange, right? That's an ally. That's a friend. Would Canada come and help us for nothing in exchange? And I'm not saying that we are any better. I think that if a country needs help, that we would help them, but for something in exchange. Do you really think that we are, I don't even know if it's called helping them, but do you really think that whatever we're doing for Ukraine, we're doing it for nothing, just to be free? Just a second. Oh, I heard a noise back there, and it was a car. I was hoping it wasn't a moose. But do you really think that we are helping them for nothing in exchange? Ladies and gentlemen, if you do, then you need to wake up. You need to wake up. Okay? Just a second. I'm going to let this vehicle pass me. Do you think China's going to come and help us? I'm just being funny right there. Everybody here knows that they won't. They would come and help us, but if they got something in exchange. So my point is this, is that if you're not prepared, then who's going to prepare for you? And if you're not prepared and someone comes to help you, what for? What will you have to give up? Well, I have a solution, ladies and gentlemen, for you not to have to give up anything. It's just be prepared. Get everything that you need, ladies and gentlemen, and get it now, because you're going to need it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to make this video that long. So I'm going to go to the bunker now and see if I can upload this. But again, happy Mother's Day to all of you. And I know I was all over the place, but I was just sharing my thoughts with you this morning. I come out and have a walk, every other day or so, or whenever I want, really. And these are the thoughts that go through my head. And these are some of the things that I think about when I'm having a little walk out here. And by the way, it's a brisk, like 34 degrees out today. Not too bad. The sun is coming out. Unfortunately, it's been raining a little bit, which is terrible. I hope the snow goes away and the rain goes away for at least a couple of months. Give us a little bit of time to do some work. But like I said, it's just me out here having a little walk. I love the sound of the rooster, if you can hear that. I love that sound. And ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. I'm not going to ask for your forgiveness, but I'm going to ask for your understanding. I'm putting out a video, I think tomorrow, on I'm putting away some rice, and it's a cool story behind it. So watch that. But when I'm rewatching the video, I'm like, oh man, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. But listen, I understand this, and I hope you understand this. I'm the only person in the background here when it comes to doing the videos and uploading the videos and editing the videos and stuff like that. And I'm definitely not a professional. I don't want to be a professional editor. You know, I like it the way it is now, simple and pretty much raw. You know I edit videos, but it's pretty raw, meaning that there's no fancy stuff input in my videos or anything like that. If anything, I would say that the production value, when it comes to like not having a staff behind you saying, stop filming, you know, do this instead of that, you know, don't say this, the production value is very low. But I don't bring to you, in my opinion, production value. I just bring to you an average person, all right, me, and my journey in the world of preparedness. And also, the things that are going on in the world that I think we ought to know about as far as preparedness goes. And also a little bit of my life. So I hope that you don't mind my quirkiness sometimes. I hope that you understand when you watch a video and you say, oh man, you know, he keeps saying ladies and gentlemen. I hope that, you know, if the cinematography is not great, I hope you understand. This is what it is, right? What you see here is what you get. And I'm not saying that I'm one all be all, but it is what you get. What you see here is what you get. So this ugly mug right here, that's really all that I have to offer you. Like I said, along with my experiences, with a little bit of my life and my thoughts, you know, so I want to thank every one of you. We've had a lot of new subscribers, a lot of new community members here lately. And I want to thank you all very much for joining our community. And I have to say this because it's true. I love you guys. And God bless you. Have a great day and happy Mother's Day. Hey, hey, Captain Jack. Hey, hey, Captain Jack. Meet me down by the railroad track. Meet me down by the railroad track. With that knife in my hand. With that knife in my hand. I'm gonna be a stabbing man. I'm gonna be a stabbing man. The best I can. For Uncle Sam. Hey, hey, Captain Jack. Hey, hey, Captain Jack. Meet me down by the railroad track. Meet me down by the railroad track. Put that rifle in my hand. Put that rifle in my hand. I'm gonna be a shooting man. A stabbing man. The best I can. For Uncle Sam. Re-up, you're crazy. Re-up, you're crazy. Re-up, you're out of your mind. Re-up, you're out of your mind. Re-up, you're crazy. Re-up, you're crazy. Re-up, you're out of your mind.